If you are looking for an LLC business line of credit from Chase, you are really lucky because the bank has national coverage. They are available in 48 continental states. So they're not only the only place where they're not available is Alaska and Hawaii, and as well as U.S. territory. So basically, they kind of cover like 95% of the United States. Okay, and the thing is that when we talk about, let me just first give you a glance of the whole situation here. When we talk about LLC, business lines of credit from Chase, you need to understand that they are giving you have flexibility, you have generosity. So Chase will actually grant you anywhere from $10,000 to $500,000. This is really good. So you can use the cash for a lot of things, okay? And you can ensure that your business can handle the unexpected. And the cool thing is that the flexibility even goes further. Chase does not place any restriction on the timing. They just want you to actually, on the timing of the withdrawals from the line of credit, they just want you to actually pay them a certain percentage every year during the draw period. So you have a draw period, and then you have a repayment period, okay? And so you have $10,000 to $500,000. You have a 5-year revolving term with potential to renew thereafter. So Chase will have to study your profile, your account with them, and if everything goes fine, goes well, they will renew you without a problem, okay? And they have a 5-year repayment term. So they have a 5-year draw term and a 5-year repayment term where your LLC has to repay whatever you charged, whatever you actually withdrew from the business line of credit. In terms of, by the way, welcome back to the show. I really appreciate having you here. Anytime we have conversations about LLC, business lines of credit from Chase or Wells Fargo or Bank of America or whatnot, okay? So when we talk about LLC, business lines of credit from Chase, we actually have two types of business lines of credit. So we have a traditional business line of credit, and we also have a commercial line of credit. So this is actually great if your LLC happens to be a larger LLC. You have a multi-member LLC, and you are making like $2 million a year in revenue at least. So typically here you have for this commercial line of credit, you have more than $500,000 line of credit, initial terms from 1 to 2 years with potential to renew thereafter. So the potential here is not 5 years, but 1 to 2 years, because just want to make sure that you are reliable as a borrower, as a corporate borrower. Let me quickly get into more details here. So I really want to explain to you when we talk about the Chase business line of credit for your LLC. I really want to dig a little deeper, okay? By the way, I want to remind you of today's topic. We're having a conversation about LLC business lines of credit from Chase. Okay, I'm really going granular here, giving you all the details you need so you can make the right determination, the right decision for your LLC. So just want to clarify the amount, $10,000 to $500,000. You can't go more than that. If you have a regular LLC, quote unquote regular LLC, you can only have $10,000 to $500,000. Okay, the repayment schedule, Chase will agree with you. It's actually subject to negotiation. We have been dealing with the Chase on behalf of our own company, but also on behalf of clients, business clients for the last 20 years. And Chase is very open to negotiation. Not a problem. They'll work with you. Okay. So in terms of the repayment schedule, what will happen here is that once you draw from the line, you will pay Chase back plus interest over a monthly payment schedule. So Chase will actually look at your LLC's liquidity inflows and outflows and will determine, hey, listen, we want to be paid back, let's say, over 5 years, over 3 years, over 4 years. It really depends. Chase also allows your LLC to choose a monthly payment date that suits your LLC's cash flows. Okay, this means that with the business line of credit that Chase offers your LLC, you will have plenty of wiggle room. They just call it that way. Wiggle room when it comes to repaying the line of credit. This is unlike a short-term non-bank line of credit. Like you have Blue Vine, you have On Deck, and sometimes they ask you to actually repay them weekly or sometimes even daily. That's kind of crazy, but yeah, Chase gives you time. They actually just want you to pay them like over a monthly period, and that's kind of cool. Okay, and one thing we love about the Chase business line of credit for your LLC also is that it is revolving. In other words, once you pay back what you borrowed, your credit line gets refilled to its original amount. So until you have fully repaid what you borrowed, Chase will actually deduct automatic monthly payments from your Chase LLC business checking account. So this is kind of cool. Okay, this means that to get a Chase business line of credit, you'll have to have a Chase business checking account for your LLC. Very important. And in the interest of going a little more granular here, I want to talk to you about the terms. So it's important to understand that. I think I said this before, but I want to reiterate so you were clear about what we have in conversation about here. So the term, you have a maximum revolving term of 5 years, and at the end of the 5-year term, you can no longer draw from the credit line, and you will need to pay your outstanding balance over 5 years, unless you request a renewal. So 5-year draw period and 5-year repayment period. Okay, let's talk about the rates and fees here. So the rates you receive on a Chase LLC business line of credit will vary based on a number of factors. Like we have the economy, like, right now people are kind of scared about banks, filing for bankruptcy or whatnot, the stock market going down. So if you have this sort of, I would say, I wouldn't want to say a negative economic environment, but let's say people are kind of panicking right now, Chase will actually take that into account. As long as the fundamentals of the economy are strong, they're fine. But if the fundamentals of the economy start to actually shake, Chase might actually reflect that in your APR, for example. Okay. And one thing you need to understand here is that Chase business lines of credit for your LLC come with fees too. So you'll have to pay an annual fee. So if your credit line is $50,000 or less, your annual fee is $150. If it's more than $50,000, you'll have to pay $250 as an annual fee. Okay, that said, your annual fee is automatically waived when your average credit line utilization is 40% or more of your credit line amount. So just want you to use the cash because that's how they make money too, right? So when you think about this LLC business line of credit from Chase, it's really great if you are a business owner, if you're an LLC business owner who needs access to cash for a short time frame. Okay, we're talking about 1 to 5 years here. So any LLC business owner who has a cash flow fluctuation issues should have a line of credit. So when your LLC's cash flow fluctuates, or you have general working capital needs for your LLC, you can tap into your LLC line of credit to use the funds however you like. Okay, it's all about flexibility. It's all about opportunity. It's all about availability. It's all about liquidity. Let's talk about suitability here. So basically, which one should you go after? So is your LLC better off with a Chase business line of credit or a Chase commercial line of credit? Okay, this is important. I think that I have actually said this before, that you need to understand it's all about size. It's all about liquidity needs. When we talk about a Chase business line of credit, the typical business line of credit, we're speaking about an LLC that makes actually less than $2 million in revenue. So basically, your funding needs are not really that consequential. Now they're significant. So you're kind of cool if you have like less than $500,000 in terms of a line of credit. Now, if your funding needs are, let's say, higher, you need a lot of cash to do a lot of things, then you might want to think about a commercial line of credit from Chase. By the way, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. What are we talking about? We're speaking about LLC business lines of credit from Chase. And I'm giving you an in-depth review so you have a clear idea what you're getting yourself into. If you choose to actually go with Chase, you want to choose a Chase business line of credit for your LLC. And one thing I want to say here is that the requirements are more stringent for a Chase commercial line of credit. Usually, they will want your LLC to be a multi-member LLC that has a proven track record in terms of profitability, in terms of financial stability, in terms of liquidity, so inflows and outflows. And for that, Chase wants you to have a years long relationship with them. So you're going to have to maintain a years long relationship with them. And in some cases, Chase will also want to have personal relationships with all the major stockholders in your LLC. Okay, so it's really important. And one thing I want to say here is that when we talk about the commercial line of credit, Those lines are larger than $500,000. The terms are usually initially set at 12 to 24 months, but given that you are in good standing with the bank, you can renew your commercial line of credit. And this Chase commercial line of credit has variable interest rates indexed by the LIBOR, okay, the London Interbank Offered Rate. So you won't have to worry about annual fees with the Chase commercial line of credit. And to repay what you draw from the line of credit, you will have monthly payments on only what you owe in interest. Okay, so it's really good. So the bottom line here is that it's just a matter of size, really. You know, as they say, size matters is really true. So if your LLC is big, you go with a Chase commercial line of credit, and if your LLC is it's relatively not really small, but not as big as making $2 million a year rather, you want to go for the Chase business line of credit. I want to talk to you about eligibility. You know, the thing is, how do you qualify for an LLC business line of credit from Chase? It's really important to understand that the intersection of your LLC and your personal finances plays an important role when it comes to eligibility. In other words, Chase is looking at two tables. They are looking at your personal finances, and they're also looking at your LLC finances. This is if you have like if you are a single member LLC, or you are a multi-member LLC in which you have a majority shareholder, and like you don't have a big LLC, quote unquote. Okay, so Chase will look at those. Chase will have this dual analysis and making sure that you are actually good to go on both sides. So it's really important, if you want to improve your chances of approval with Chase, make sure you take care of both sides of the equation here. Okay, we're speaking again once about your personal affairs and your business affairs. And so basically, when we talk about your personal affairs, we're speaking about a constellation of documents, things like proof of income. We're speaking about proof of compliance with U.S. tax laws that you're filing to your tax return. So you have to, Chase might actually ask you to send them your last 3 annual tax reports. So that would be your 1040s for the last 3 years. And with, of course, with Schedule C, all the Schedule Cs, so they can actually see your income, and your income from a regular job, but also your income from side projects. So that's for the for the personal side. They also want to see things like your bank statement. So it's really helpful if you already have an established relationship with Chase, so you don't have to provide all kinds of documentation anymore. Okay, so this is really good. And also on the business side, they want to see the same thing. They want to see your financials, your accounting reports, balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statements, statement of owner's equity. They want to see also your tax returns. So that will be your LLC tax returns, your 1065 with the schedules K1 for the last 3 years, so they know you are compliant with U.S. tax laws at the federal level, but also at the state level. Really important. Okay, so you got to really think about that very importantly. And Chase also wants to have a clear idea about your business history and trajectory. So your LLC trajectory is really important. What does that really mean? Well, the thing here is that your LLC actually evolves in a specific industry, right? And so Chase is going to do a macro analysis, and they're also going to do a micro analysis. So a macroeconomic analysis and a microeconomic analysis. So basically, they're trying to see what's really happening in the industry at a very grand level, right? So because every industry has several layers. So if you're in the restaurant industry is part of the larger hospitality industry. So Chase is going to look at the overall state of the economy. Then they'll look at the overall state of the hospitality industry. And then they'll drill down to the restaurant industry. And then they'll look at the particular restaurant industry in your sector, in your geography. This is the kind of a multi-layered analysis they do before considering your LLC for a business line of credit. Okay, and so it's really important. Now, how can you actually give Chase the ability to have a better view about your industry? Well, do a business plan. If you're trying to convey a clear idea about your business history and trajectory, it's important to actually put the ideas in the business plan. And I'm talking about a compelling narrative about your LLC that demonstrates things like products and services that talks about market analysis, that talks about your competitors, right? That talks about profitability, revenue analysis. We're talking about the 4 financial statements. And don't forget assumptions, significant assumptions about your industry. So when you prepare if you prepare, for example, financial projections, that means that you really have you need to have a clear idea, and you need to be able to demonstrate to Chase all the significant assumptions that you really you really based your analysis upon. Those are really important. So when we talk about having a solid business plan, we are talking about you explaining to Chase your LLC's products and services, and how those products and services will contribute to generating revenue. See, you got to be able, you got to show Chase that your business is financially healthy, is in terms of liquidity, your LLC is kind of strong, so they can actually grant you that your LLC. I want to talk to you before we close to this conversation. I want to really touch a little bit on alternatives. Now, if you don't qualify for an LLC business line of credit from Chase, you have other players out there. Okay, don't you be desperate and say, oh, all hell is breaking loose from me. My ass is not approved. No, don't do this. I mean, the thing here is that, yeah, of course, if you get denied for a business loan from Chase or any other lender, hey, listen, stuff happens, you're desperate, but hey, listen, you can actually get a loan from Fundbox, for example. I mean, Chase is kind of cool because they actually are more generous. Of course, Chase has a larger balance sheet. They have a heftier balance sheet. But Fundbox will get you something up to $100,000. I mean, it is what it is. If you got a ticket, you better do whatever it takes to actually get the loan or the line of credit you need, that your LLC needs, right? So with Fundbox, the maximum here is $100,000 with terms of either 12 weeks or 24 weeks. Of course, 12 weeks, can you imagine? 12 weeks, that's 3 months. It's kind of crazy. Less than 3 months, really. Less than 3 months. And 24 weeks, that's less than 6 months. Whereas Chase is giving you 5 years draw period and 5 years repayment period. Fundbox is like, listen, we don't know what will happen to your ass 1 month from now, 2 years from now. We want to really gradually look at this every single quarter. Okay, so but it is what it is. And but see, the thing is that your chances of being approved for a Fundbox line of credit are higher than having a Chase approval. Okay, and Fundbox, they're asking you for a personal credit score for 600 or more, okay, which is kind of reasonable. And they want your LLC to make at least $100,000 a year in annual revenue. That's gross revenue. And also to actually be in at least 6 months in existence. So operational history of 6 months. Then besides Fundbox, you also have OnDeck. So OnDeck is another player. OnDeck also has a business line of credit for your LLC that goes all the way to $100,000. And they will accept a maximum repayment term of 12 months. Okay, so you can see that they're kind of similar to Fundbox. And they have, if you want to qualify, you need a minimum FICO score of 625. It goes from 600 to 625, and at least 100,000 in annual revenue. Okay, so same procedure here. Now, Bluevine, of all three, the third player is Bluevine. Bluevine is more generous. Okay. And but one might say that Bluevine is more financially stable than the other two. But hey, listen, this is what we believe. After having dealt with them for a lot of over a lot of years, Bluevine's approval system is more streamlined. Okay, they can qualify you for up to $250,000 with a fixed 6 month or 12 month term. Okay. And but the 12 month term option has a monthly payment plan. But overall, this is kind of cool. They want a credit score of 625 minimum and 24 months or more in business and at least $40,000 in monthly revenue. But those are negotiable. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about LLC business lines of credit from Chase. Okay, so we have I gave you a glance into the whole thing, and I spoke about some details. I gave you some details: suitability, eligibility, alternatives, and that's it. So I'll see you next time, but until then, remember, stay marvelous.